tell you, when we were recording in the studio, the ladies would come and we would learn the song, and then an hour later we would go in the studio to record it. And they're like, Liz, we're not going to be able to do it. But our brains are so amazing. Like when we hear something and we understand it, we can like spin it right back out. We have the best computers in the world right here in our cranium, right? And that is so possible when we step ourselves out of the way. We quit trying to feel all uncomfortable and allow the machine to work, the computer to work, that it will happen that way. And for some people, music is the way that can happen the most freely. So that's why I have tried to do this kind of work in this way, to help people get used to saying the sounds, hearing the sounds, and making the sounds with their mouths. Earlier, our elder talked about how we sound like we've learned in a classroom, right? And that's from that use of our sounds in a classroom, and being very influenced by speaking English all the time. Our vowels sometimes sound differently when we try to then speak Anishinaabemodaa. So singing can help with that. And singing in front of people is not for everybody. You know, I know some people are shy about that, but you can always sing by yourself, and nobody's going to be worried about your vowel misplacement or your emphasis on the wrong syllable. So this song is a song concerning a brave woman, which I'm going to read this story. When we read this story or heard this story, and maybe some people have this story in their oral tradition, I'm sure they do, because it's a powerful story. But this is the first time I had heard of it, so I'm going to read from this, and I have it up here so you can follow along if you want. This was narrated by somebody called Mr. John W. Carroll, and he's a grandson of Bishaganab, and said that in his childhood he often heard this story. There was once a Hudson's Bay trader who came to the Chippewa country, loved a Chippewa maiden, and wooed her according to the custom of her people. He gave a great feast, invited her father, and asked his consent to the marriage. 3 daughters were born to them, one being the mother of Bishaganab. Years passed, and Bishaganab, granddaughter of the Hudson Bay trader, grew to womanhood. One day, as she was lighting her breakfast fire, she heard the cry, "The Sioux are upon us." This was followed by the report of guns. Immediately, the camp became a scene of confusion, the men trying to repulse the Sioux and the women hastening to put their household goods into canoes. The father of Bishaganab went into the fight. He was wounded 5 times, but contrived to get near the water and was helped into a canoe. It was supposed that Bishaganab had been killed, but when the escaping party were far from shore, they saw a woman fighting the Sioux with a club. The Sioux drove her into the water, and she swam toward a canoe. The Sioux followed, trying to strike her on the head with a club, but she actually broke and tore their canoe with her hands. It was said that she was like a great bear in her ferocity. The Sioux were forced into the water, and she pounded them with a paddle as she made for the shore. Instead of following the retreating Chippewa, she went upstream, hiding in the bushes, returning later to the battlefield by a circuitous path. There she found much beautiful beadwork. Bishaganab scalped the Sioux, put on a Sioux war bonnet, and made a great pack of blankets, guns, and beadwork. Then she painted her face and went to the camp with her trophies. So this song, she passed in 1892, it says. This song was made in her honor. And when we found that, we said, how could we not sing that song as part of this project? So we called it Bishaganab Honor Song, but it's a song concerning a brave woman.